Hello everyone, and welcome again to today's Aligned Living Circle, where we aligned our mind, body, and spirit with seasonal energies. Thank you for coming and adding to the magic of this space, because this will be a very magical week of growth. But today's focus is on growth and uncertainty. And this week is our integration week. So we're focusing on all three of those aspects: mind, body, and spirit. So let's go ahead and jump into intention setting. And if you will, get yourself a couple breaths, get your body as still as you can, depending on what you're doing. And try not to do anything, just sit there. And take an inhale. On the exhale, let go any chaotic energy, any fidgetiness. And really tune into the body. That's so important. And take a moment to, on your own, of your own will, set the intention that you will receive whatever it is that you need today, whatever's right for you. Maybe you have a specific thing, maybe in general. And take a breath. And when you've done that, shake yourself out, give yourself a good shake. It's always a fun, I love that. It's such a good way to shake off energy. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. I'm so excited for this week. I cannot tell you. First of all, let's explore the seasonal energies. Today, as of this event, it is only a few days away from Imbolc. And we've been talking about it for a couple weeks. Imbolc is the midpoint between winter and spring. And today we celebrate this around February 1st to February 2nd, beginning at sunset and ending at sunset on the 1st and the 2nd. And we base it around the sunset since the holiday comes from Celtic tradition, where the days began and ended at sunset. Imbolc is the beginning of life, returning to nature and us. And we'll see that the days are growing longer and warmer. Plants are beginning to stir and animals are becoming more active. And that's very apparent in what this holiday stands for. The word Imbolc itself means in the belly, which is referring to, back in the day, sheep at this time of year were preparing to give birth real early in spring. And even though we're still in winter, right? Even though it is still technically winter, this is when the Celts would begin milking the ewes. And this process gave them the food, gave them the sustenance that was vital to surviving the rest of the winter, because it's been a long time since the fall harvest, and that supply is growing smaller and smaller. This was a big moment of restoring some hope and some stability to the future. And we'll briefly touch on one of the big things about Imbolc is strongly associated with Brigid, the goddess Brigid. Sometimes Bridget or Brige, if you're going with the Gaelic pronunciation. Brigid is a triple goddess, so she holds the aspects of mother, maiden, crone, all of the three life cycles: young, middle age, and older. And these are all cycles we see in the earth and the moon and all sorts of things. They're repeated everywhere. For this particular holiday, this Sabbath, she is in her crone phase. She is embodying the crone, which is endings and deep wisdom, a connection to the earth. It's a beautiful phase. And Brigid is associated with many things, a few of them being fertility, creation, and motherhood, which makes Imbolc the holiday where she has really strong connections. She is also associated with healers. She's the goddess of healers, of poets, of inspiration, things like waterways and fire and war. She is a fierce and fiery goddess who protects everything that is creative and creation. So, with Bridget guiding the energy of this season, we can be sure that creation and vitality are all around us. And that brings us to our first ally this week, which is Snowdrop. This flower is one of the biggest symbols of Imbolc because at this time, this flower is sprouting up through the snow, and it's one of the first visible signs that spring is getting closer and that life is returning to nature. For ancient peoples, snowdrops were a symbol of hope above all else. She reminds us that every winter, no matter how harsh, comes to an end. At the end of every dark chapter, there will always be a new beginning and growth. Snowdrops, if you've ever seen one, are these really tiny, delicate flowers. They look so fragile. And still, they're the first plants to break through the frozen ground, climb through the layers of snow, and bloom. They are a symbol of hidden strength, of those who seem small, that hold power that many people don't. And there are some who say that snowdrops generate their own heat. We don't have proof of this, but it's a really fun energy to tap into. When you see the first snowdrops of this season blooming in this, they're around snow, and they're popping up. Everything's frozen, but around the snowdrops, the snow is starting to melt. Nowhere else. And this is really interesting because it symbolizes to us that they hold something within them that not only creates growth in difficult environments, but also begins to thaw and heal their surroundings. And we also have this ability. The human spirit is an incredibly resilient spirit. And when we hold on to our hope, it allows us to grow in any situation. And through shining our inner light, the people around us also gain hope and begin to heal. On the other hand, snowdrops have long been associated with death for a handful of reasons. One being they grow abundantly in graveyards, just all the time. And they're very commonly used in funeral rites. They're even sometimes thought of as a bad omen, a bringer of disease or even death, if you bring them into your home. So, from a spiritual perspective, we can see that snowdrops are symbolic of the hope that comes after grief. Their light and warmth comfort us, and they remind us of the promise of renewal and the life that comes after death, that every ending is a beginning. In magic, because we know we're going to get into the magic, in magic, snowdrops are used for healing, comfort, cleansing, and protection, the main properties. They are such powerful protectors because the plant is very toxic. It is poisonous. And it may seem strange that both healing and poison are within this plant. But poisonous plants hold really powerful energies for inner healing and shadow work. They are the shadows of the plant world. It is reflecting our shadow in another setting. And their associations to death, danger, and the really strong aversion people have to them makes them incredibly powerful allies to work with when working in our own shadows. Working with poisonous plants. Choosing to be an ally and work with a poisonous plant means that we've accepted their taboo nature. They teach us to accept the part of ourselves that we see as bad or shameful. If we can accept and respect and sometimes even love them, then we can do the same for ourselves. Personally, I think working with poisonous plants has been an incredible journey. I highly recommend it if you're doing it safely. Don't eat them, but they're great allies. So, part of the healing that Snowdrop has for us this week is to lean into the parts of ourselves that are strange, no pun intended, the parts of ourselves that are unwanted by us, the parts that others may not like. And remember that not everyone is going to see your light, but it is there. It is there, it is shining, and whether you see it or not, it is warming up the world around you. And the biggest key message of this week is our biggest protection for any of life's challenges is hope. If we hold on to our hope, it will grow into trust. We nurture our hope, it grows into trust. Not simply hoping for a better future, trusting and knowing that it is already on its way. And then our second ally for this week is Groundhog. So on February 2nd, as Imbolc is in swing, being celebrated, it's also Groundhog's Day. And while these two celebrations aren't directly related, they do have similar themes. Both of them are signaling the beginning of spring and looking forward to life returning to Earth. One of the biggest things groundhogs are known for are digging and their tunneling abilities. For this week, we're being shown that a new passion or curiosity is about to open up, which is great for this new season. And this is a curiosity, a passion that will bring a fresh energy full of motivation and dedication. And when you find that inspiration, follow it. Dig into it deep. Be a student and build it into your future. It may just be a gift from Bridget herself. Another thing about groundhog dens, they build really complex dens with consistent elements across all of them. They have a pretty consistent layout. They are very particular with how they create them and how they keep them. They're very clean. Goodness gracious, guys, my headphones are going to die. Give me a second. You hear me? Yeah, okay. Cool. Thanks, guys. Yes, so these dens that they carefully create, they keep very clean, they're very intentional. They represent one, a very deep connection to the natural world and also groundedness. One of the messages from Groundhog today is to make your home a sacred space, a grounding space. We can do this by spending time meditating and detaching from the external world and our worries, going into our den. Find time to just be still and reflect on the magic of nature. Another message here is to dig into ourselves and find that those inner strengths, those little gems, clear away all the metaphorical dirt and allow your true self to shine through. This is a time for growth. So find the parts of yourself that are ready to be planted and grow into a future harvest. Groundhogs are very dedicated workers, but they also know when to play. They know when to rest. They hibernate. We're being asked to call on the spirit of Groundhog to balance our responsibilities and our joy. When we're feeling pulled in too many directions at once, they can help us ground into what is serving us and how to choose where to put our energy. It's important to note that groundhogs are not territorial, but they don't allow others to come into their dens. Their rule. Other groundhogs know when a den is a home, when it's occupied, because there will be a fresh pile of dirt right outside all of the entrances. They have many entrances. And this is teaching us that clearly communicating our boundaries without being aggressive is vital to finding the respect that we deserve and allowing us the space to detach and find peace. Just like Snowdrop, Groundhog teaches that there is a great power in a gentle approach. And that's a big theme for this week. They're also animals of transition. Their cycle of power, their most powerful time is in the season where we're shifting from that dark part of the year into the warm. And Groundhog teaches us that in life's most significant transitions, even though we know they're coming and we prepare, it can still take us by surprise. So this ally will walk with you through these moments, reminding you to just breathe, ground into the earth, knowing that you can overcome any and all of these challenges. All right. So for today's practice, we are going to explore a ritual that you can do for Imbolc to find balance in transition. If you would like to grab a notebook, this will have probably more steps than you can remember, and some journal prompts. So grab yourself a notebook. Let me find my questions so I can send them to you. Okay. All right. So you will need for this ritual a few things. First and foremost, a candle. This is, at the end of the day, a fire ceremony. It's one of the big fire ceremonies in Celtic traditions. So fire is a big part of it. You'll need a candle. White or green would be best, but you always work with what you got, right? Magic is supposed to be accessible. It's supposed to be a power that anyone can tap into. So make it work for you. Something else you'll need is a piece of white paper. Anything really will do, just as long as it's white. You will need a green pen or marker, something green to write with if you have it. This green represents the green and the white, represent the green and the white of snowdrops. We're calling on that energy here. Let's see. You will also need a journal and something to write with there. And finally, a picture of a snowdrop, whether it's online, on your phone that you've printed out, one that you've drawn, whatever it is, find yourself a picture. This is going to be your focus point. And optionally, if you want to get an extra boost of magic, you can grab yourself some honey and a pinch of dirt. I love dirt and magic, so here we go. For these steps, oh goodness, hold on. Honey, first of all, honey is very similar to what snowdrops smell like. If you smell a snowdrop, it has a very honey-like scent. So again, calling on that energy. And dirt, since groundhogs are such a grounding and in the earth animal, it's also calling on that energy. So once you have everything gathered, prepared, you're going to start by finding yourself a quiet place where you won't be disturbed and that you can sit comfortably at. And you will want to turn off the lights wherever you are. Turn off the lights, get into that vibe of the darkness of winter. And then you'll light your candle. You'll light your candle. You'll grab any extra candles, any incense, anything you want to set the mood with. Get yourself into a calm, grounded state, as you always do at the beginning of a ritual. You can also follow a meditation to get yourself grounded, to get yourself aligned. You can play music, whatever works for you. And when you're lighting this candle, remember that you're calling on the life, the warmth, the vitality of spring, of Imbolc coming in. And then you will, by the light of this candle, journal over the following questions. And let me stick those in the chat for you. Okay. So one, what has been growing within you this winter? Talking about ideas, thoughts, even fears, even worries, even hesitations, but particularly if something has felt inspiring to you. This is very much a season of inspiration. Two, what new beginnings are you experiencing? This may be really obvious for you. It also may be a little more subtle, but I guarantee there is some kind of new beginning. And three, what projects and plans would you like to bring to life over the next few months? And spend your time here actually really thinking about it, really writing them down. When we write things down, it's so much easier to organize those thoughts. And number four, are there changes or transitions currently taking place that feel uncomfortable? And if so, do a quick little note over what those are. Once you've journaled all of this out, you will take the photo of your snowdrop wherever you have it. And as I said, you'll use this as your focus point while you meditate. So you will go into a self-guided meditation here, focusing on this picture, at least at the beginning. But if you're someone who struggles to visualize, you can look at it the whole time. It's a really good hack for those of us who don't meditate quite like everyone else, or just have trouble focusing. It's a good reason to use one. So as you're meditating, the general premise here is to visualize yourself walking in nature through snowdrops, around snowdrops somewhere. And just kind of explore for a moment. And if you have any messages, any wisdom, any information, any feelings come in, you can write those down for sure. But you'll go in, you'll wander, and then you find yourself a place to sit in this meditation. Somewhere that feels restful, feels grounding, calming. And then in this meditation, spend time reflecting on what needs balanced in your life. And try to come to a short answer, such as like work and rest or worry and trust. And when you have your answer, you will come out of your meditation and you'll take your white paper and your green pen and you'll write the first, I'm going to show you. You'll write the first part down here at the top. You will rotate 180. You will write the second half and then you will draw a line. So you're going to write it, rotate it, write it again in a line. This is mirroring those two things. And once you've written everything down, drawn it out, hold that paper in your hands and just really visualize for a moment what that balance will look like. Really see it all play out like a movie. You know, we're manifesting this balance. And when you're done, when you're ready, you will take that paper and you'll fold it right along this line. So it's folded in half, putting those two sides so they're touching. And if you want to, if you feel called, you can add a drop of honey here on the inside of this paper to represent holding them together with that sticky sweetness, that love, that nurturing of honey. And you can sprinkle a little bit of dirt over the honey to stabilize and ground the energy into reality. It also helps with the balancing piece. Dirt is very good for that. And that is basically your ritual. When you're done with all of that, feel free to do what you want with this paper. My recommendations would be bury it, leave it outside, drop it into running water, or leave it somewhere where you'll see it often. If you have an altar, if you have a sacred space, if you have a workspace that feels nice to you, you can place it in a jar if it's sticky. You can fold it up and tuck it away. Just somewhere that is around. This energy is existing in your space, or returning it to the earth in some way to plant it like a seed. And those are our tools, those are our tips and tricks. And if you enjoy this, if this is something that resonates with you, if exploring rituals like this are exciting to you, I'd love to invite you to come join us in Modern Mystic Academy. It's a beautiful space where we get to do these all the time. And it's a magical community of supportive people where we're all in it together on that magical journey.